were somewhere in the 90% range, if I remember correctly. That was the last time it was that high. So we're down to 50% of what you ought to be able to breathe in order to function. How long can you hold your breath? Well, simple. You plant trees. House plants do help. Believe me, they do. But the other thing that will give you the oxygenation that you need are these little drops of sodium chloride. It helps your body in two ways. It does provide an oxygen, but it also makes it easier for your blood to oxygenate when it gets to your lungs. And that's something that everybody needs to know about. So, what else you got on the menu here?
Well, one of the questions that came from the chat room is, do you use or do you do remote viewing?
Let's put it this way, and I'll tell everybody a little bit about me. When I was a child, I suddenly became fully psychic, and that means telepathy and the whole 9 yards that goes with it. Okay? I found this out purely by accident. When I knew what my grandmother was thinking, when she came walking up the walk, and she had just driven in from Ohio, and it was a pretty long drive, and she was tired, and her legs was hurting, and she thought, she didn't say, she thought, oh, I love him to death, but I hope he don't jump on me. I don't think I could stand the pain. I looked at my grandma and I said, I'm not going to jump on you. And her chin hit the sidewalk. She didn't say it, but I knew what she said, was thinking, in terms of what she said in her mind. So, eventually, I learned about the psychic sciences, and you can take whatever you want to and put it in there. I practiced remote viewing. I've practiced telepathy. I've practiced telekinesis. I've practiced out-of-body experience. I've practiced healing auras. Most of the things that people are not real familiar with in terms of how they work and what they do and how to go about them, I'll again recommend Humanity Healing website. I know some of the people that originated that. I also know some of the instructors there, and it doesn't matter your educational level, just simply that you are aware of what can be done. There are people there who will fully instruct you on what you need to do, the manner in which you need to do it, and what the limitations are, things you shouldn't necessarily do quite yet, sort of give you a guide or guidance in the direction you need to go with it. That's one of the reasons I highly recommend it. David Wilcock has on his site a lot of the same sorts of things in a little bit different manner. He's pretty accurate in a lot of what he does. This is one of the reasons that we're friends. I regard the man highly for two reasons, and the two reasons are simply that he doesn't play games with what he puts into his website, and he does not play games with what he puts into his books. The stuff's accurate, and a lot of the things that I knew that were at one point classified, he outs in his website and his books. So remote viewing became popular through the, let's see here, what's it called? The Psychic Operations Branch military. This is a twofold process. Remote viewing so they can see what's going on where they couldn't normally see. Being able to read somebody's mind so that you didn't have to be a very good spy. So long as you could read their mind, it didn't matter. You knew what was going on. In case you needed the, let's say the combination to a safe. And this was the only person that knew it. And all of a sudden now you knew it. You wait until nobody's there. You sneak in and you take what you want out of the safe. That sort of thing. The other part of it is contact with ETs. There's a couple of people that have been online with websites outing this as an intuitive connection. Now, an intuitive connection gives you the gist of the meaning of what something is trying to tell you. And that something may be totally different enough that there is no way to communicate with language in general or mathematics. The only way is to exchange thoughts. This is similar to what is done in terms of making peace with wasps and bees so they don't sting you anymore. I highly recommend practicing it simply because you can have at least that one benefit. So, remote viewing, yes, I've done that. Anybody can do these.
Just on a side note, I would like to add to what you're saying. They've tagged that with remote viewing, and anybody who learns how to do that, they've got people out there in the government that are watching for you to learn how and to shut you down. So what I do myself is remote listening, because everything has energy, everything is energy, and they emit energy. So if you focus on a place and just listen, you'd be surprised what comes through. And they don't even know you're there because you're listening. You're not actively scanning and trying to view it. You're just letting the energy come through you so that you know what's going on there. So I would like to just put that concept out there to people so that nobody really kind of gets in trouble or gets in a situation they can't get out of. So think of it as remote listening, not remote viewing, because you're listening to what's going on there. You're not trying to view it. Sorry about that, Drake.
Exactly. That's exactly it. There's, like I say, there's varying forms of things that a person can learn to do. The military actually holds schools in it. They find somebody who has a talent. They check the talent out to see how valid it is and whether it can be replicated or repeated on a basic scientific basis. Then you're taught how to do what's called intuitive interconnection. Oh,
Drake, we have we're going to stop at the top of the hour because we're into this is the 5th hour we've been into this, and I know you're getting tired, but we've got a million questions that haven't been asked. We've already posted earlier in the chat room where they can send their questions to.
Okay.
And do you remember what that was, Tom?
They can go to freedomreigns.us, and there will be a question page there, and we're also going to put a frequently asked questions page here on Wolf Spirit Radio. And I would just like to say to Drake, my thinking, the majority of it surrounds us changing our thinking and how we view things or deal with things, and I started doing that back in the 80s when I was a teenager, because I grew up hearing the saying, kill them with kindness, from my parents. So I took that saying and I changed it and used it the way I thought was best to use it. And I took a magic marker and I wrote in very big letters, I wrote the word kindness on a baseball bat, and I was going to kill people with kindness if they kept messing with me, and I had to pull that bat out of the trunk of my car more than once to make people understand that I was going to kill them with kindness. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to suggest that anybody that wants to really know about a lot of these things, what I am trying to do and what Freedom Reigns would like to do is to concentrate on two things. One is freedom, and the other is the local county project or localization or local projects, so that we have a basis for a strong country after after the government's taken out. Now, the other part of this is everybody wants to know this and that that's been answered on other websites. When are we going to have disclosure? When are we going to get the introduction to ETs and or angels or whatever these beings are, and all this? basic thing that I would remind people of is, first of all, we need to take care of getting rid of the darkness on this planet. Now, I'm going to express this to you so that everybody gets it, and I want you to pay very close attention because this is how it is. As you know, God and Lucifer had a disagreement, supposedly, and he's a fallen angel and he's a bad guy, supposedly. I don't know that that's his name. I don't know that Luciferianism covers the idea of a fallen angel. My research in the area covered a period of about 3 years, and I could not find definitive information on this. And I have been in the archives. I had a friend who got into the archives at the Vatican, and I had that same friend assist me with other archives that you had to have a recommendation to have access to. Even so, they made sure as to what you were copying, in terms of you wanted to copy something, just for your own personal use, irrespective as to what else might be going on with it. You had to have permission to have that copy. So these things were intricate. These things were involved. The gist of it is this. Everybody knows about the idea, the biblically stated idea of good and evil, God and Lucifer, and all this sort of stuff. So, what basically is involved, from what I have been given in information, is this. This planet is the last place where the darkness resides. Now, I want you to think about that. The last place that it exists. As we take that down and do away with it, we finish the, quote, reign or influence or control or whatever you want to call it of the bad or evil side to all of it. It can no longer exist. Now, I've been looking for the great big golden ring in the sky for years. I wanted to snatch it up, and I wanted to be my own person and be able to do what I wanted to. I wanted to have power. I got into the dark side. I'm going to freely admit that. I got into it far enough to understand that it wasn't the place to be. I got myself right out of it as soon as I came to that realization. Some people have to get the smell on them before they understand that that ain't the way to be. So I got myself out of it, and I got into as much of the good side as I could find. I went to fundamentalist Christian churches. I studied the Bible. I studied the meanings of it. I used Bullinger's Eskimo Aramaic, ancient Greek, Hebrew. The Koran has something to do with this, the whole 9 yards. Everybody mentions that there is an evil faction or a shadow that complements the light, or however you want to look at all this. The sum total of it is this. We have within our grasp at the present time two things. One is a freedom for the planet. In other words, it ain't just the United States, although we are critical. This is critically important for us. It's not just the United States. There are some 20 other countries that are chomping at the bit trying to get us to talk to them in terms of what can we do in our country. We are beginning to start advising these countries in generalities that fits the basic paperwork that they need to use and things of this nature, the manner or procedure in which you make your notification, the manner in which you declare your freedom, so that these people can be free. As the evil people, this is what I would call the cabal. Some people refer to it as the octopus. Some people just call it the federal government. I think all of them probably are fairly accurate in some form of description or another. But as we eradicate this, and this is a prophetic foretelling, the last portion of the place where these evil entities R is to be destroyed. Mother Gaia is to rise up.